Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Roll. Alright, first off, I want to say thank you to everyone for the overwhelming response I've gotten so far, especially yesterday. I don't know exactly what happened, but I suspect it started with Jordan's live stream where he mentioned this vlog a little bit, because I have more subscribers yesterday than any day in the entire time I've run this page. I'm just completely overwhelmed with that. All feedback has been really positive, and I can't express how humbled I am by all that. Thank you so much for all your support. Alright, today I got a couple things to talk about. First off, I finally got a response back from the Pods Corporation. They haven't resolved anything yet, but at least they're talking to me, so I don't know, we'll see what happens. I am a little disappointed that it took them 4 days to get back to me, but you know what? Here we are, we're here, so we'll try and deal with this. Basically, they say they've done kind of a very simple review of my case, and they're escalating it up the chain to a higher level to get them to deal with it. You know, one of the problems I have, in addition to the fact that they forgot to save my order, and so they delayed everything a week, and then delayed it further because they couldn't remember that they don't work on Saturdays. It's just that the customer service was so low that none of the people that I talked to even had any concern to try and escalate this up. Obviously, there's higher levels now that stuff like this can go. And I found out just by, being the squeaky wheel. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem that their day-to-day customer service people know that. They should have, right off the bat, realized, hey, you know what, when we admit that we made a mistake on his pod that's going to delay him for a week, I probably should escalate this up the scale a little bit so somebody else can deal with this and correct this problem. That's basic customer service, and a lot of what I'm going to have to say to them is going to revolve around just how bad things work for this. I do want them to fix the problem, to get my pod here quickly, and probably give me some sort of a discount for doing it. I'm thinking a certain percentage discount for every day they're late. That's how it works with most business contracts. If you're late, you pay. So I think they should do that too. But anyway, but then there's also the issue just how so many of their people just were unconcerned about, the fact that mistakes were made and that it was affecting very negatively one of their customers. So, like I said, I'm going to have a lot to talk to them if they ever actually call me. You may remember from one of my early vlogs that there was this house plant that my mother had given me like 30 years ago, and somehow it managed not to kill it, and it had been living in the backyard ever since. And since I was selling the house, I wanted to take a piece of it with me, and so I took a cutting and have kept it in a glass jar for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Well, I finally put it into soil. It looks like it might actually survive, so I'm kind of happy about that. We'll just see what happens now. It can live in here now until I move into a house, and we'll see. Keeping my fingers crossed. So a couple days ago, we played America's newest game show craze, That's Not How It's Done. And we had some laughs out of that. But I haven't actually really had much of a chance to look at some parts of the house, just because with the delay of my pods and all, I haven't had the need to go into cabinets or stuff like that. So I was just kind of doing that a little bit last night, and I found a few more things that just kind of struck me as really weird. Perfect examples of, you don't do it that way. So let's begin our next episode of That's Not How It's Done. So fortunately, the things I've noticed in today's episode of That's Not How It's Done aren't really safety issues. They're just really stupid. For example, I use this. Yeah, sorry. That's not how it's done. Fortunately, I can get into that one if I just lower the dishwasher. But when you lower the dishwasher, you discover another problem. This thing doesn't move very smoothly in there, and it kind of lifts up because apparently they didn't put the brackets on here properly. Okay, these are the slides that enable the drawer to go in and out, and you can see the slide is attached here and here with one screw. But the problem is this slider is way too long for this cabinet. It should never go that far beyond the end of the cabinet. The idea is it should, the end of it should, you know, stick out just enough so this thing kind of connects here and it hits the brake here, hits this wheel here, and that's as far as it comes out unless you do a little finagling to get it to pop out. So when, as a result of the fact that it's only connected here and here, this thing is a little too flexible here, I think, and what's happening is that it ends up walking out of the guides inside of it. And so you can get it in there, you can push it in really nice and it works fine, but the second you try and pull it out, these pieces warp together and it ends up dropping beneath the slide in there. And so as you pull it out, the drawer kind of comes out this way instead of coming straight out. So I think that's a simple fix. When I get my tools here, when the pod finally gets here, I think what I have to do is just drill a hole here, put in a couple of flush mount screws, and I think that'll give you the tension so that there isn't as much movement here. Because that shouldn't move that way. That's not the way it's done. And you see, it's clearly designed for there to be a third screw going here, but because they put the wrong size rail on the drawer, you know what, I'm just going to have to improvise. But I think, like I said, that's a simple fix. 10 cents worth of screws, 5 minutes worth of work, and that'll be good to go. Oh, and then another example of that's not how it's done. Yeah, that's not good either. Now I pop that one out, I can't even get that one back in now. What a mess, what a mess, what a mess, what a mess. See, even this one, the slider doesn't even go to the end of the drawer. And that's probably fine too, although that's probably the other extreme. Because now you've basically limited how far this thing can come out. You know, you got all that space back there, but that's as far as it comes out because, wow, okay. And then that just came off right now. So yeah, this is just something that they put in the last minute, and just like everything else, they didn't really care about what they did. That's another simple fix, a little bit of glue. In fact, when you really look at it, look at that in there. Nice quality work they do, isn't it? Wow. I love my new apartment. And then I discovered this, which is probably an accident waiting to happen. We got these nice little metal fittings on the door, and I have this nice glass door in the front of this brand new range they gave me. Now if I happen to lose control of this when I'm opening it, especially considering it's kind of spring-loaded anyway, it kind of moves on its own. If I happen to lose control of it when I'm opening it, that metal piece is going to go right through that glass, and I'm going to have a big crack on there. So I don't know what I'll do about that. Maybe put some padding here or padding here just to insulate in case it does it. I don't know. We'll figure out. Maybe I even need to get one of those stupid little door stoppers, little springy door stoppers, put it here, because if this collides with the metal, that's not going to be a problem, at least not as much of a problem as if this collides with the glass. So, I don't know, more repairs I'm going to have to do, because that's not how it's done. Additionally, on this one, I didn't even get all the little doorknobs on that one. That just has a hole in the wall. Great, huh? I'll give them credit, though. At least none of these errors are like safety issues. These are just stupid. 720 subscribers. That's insane because it was only 480 yesterday at this time. Like I said, biggest day I've ever had. I am so overwhelmed by all that. Thank you so much. So anyway, I think that's all I have for today. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow on Escaping the Mouse. Good night.